give me a chance to create something that will be meaningful in people's lives, because they're tired of just creating music that's just purely for the marketplace.
Yes, and you know, though, in your own life, I know you've had some of your own challenges. Your sister died of a brain tumor, right?
She did.
Yes, and I know, you know, you have felt death. I mean, like we all have, and had some very close experiences with it. So you had mentioned you wrote a song for her. Would you be willing?
I would. Just a little preface with it. I was going to the Bible Belt speaking to 1,000 people who had been stricken with or had been touched by cancer, whether they were family members, whatever. And Graceful Passages is an extraordinary work, but I was a little afraid that it was too multi-denominational for the Bible Belt. So I thought, how can I create a song that embodies the experience of our fragility? So I wrote this song for my sister after she had brain cancer, and I'll sing a little piece of it. Basically, the bridge. Seasons come and seasons go, like clouds pass in the sky. First we're born and then we go, without ever knowing why. We have this moment, we have each other, we have this breath of life that's gone in a blink of an eye. That's the bridge. But it's basically, it just brings out the awareness that we're only here for a short time. And when you sing it in a group of, I've sung this song on the Great Hall of China 2 weeks before the Olympics to 6,000 Chinese, and with words in Chinese and images of nature. And to sing that song in a room that admits publicly that we're not going to be here forever is an incredible privilege. Some people would say, wow, how morose. Jill, the biggest secret is start turning into the skid of the fear of dying, and what emerges is more aliveness and more gratitude for life between the people you love than you'd ever dream. And no one knows. It's one of the elixirs of a happy life.
So what you're saying is face dying.
Face the reality of your impermanence. Because if you really get that this moment could end in a minute, are you going to talk to each other, to yourself? Are you going to treat each other with kindness or with a reactive stance that doesn't care whether the person lives or dies? You're going to change the way you live in your life when you know that it could end in a minute. Well, that's, to me, a reason for living. That's a real reason for facing dying, to really live.
It's interesting. I had a friend die of a brain tumor, and I remember particularly the last 6 months of her life, and she didn't share a lot about the brain tumor, but she shared a lot of gratitude constantly. And every time I spoke to her, she would tell me how grateful she was for our friendship. She would tell me, so much so that honestly toward the end we all started thinking, this is getting a little weird. But what a beautiful thing is I reflect and remember her words and her. And her last words were all about gratitude.
Well, I say that people that look at Graceful Passages or listen to it think, I don't have somebody that's dying in my life. It's for all of us who want to cultivate what I call radical gratitude.
But we're all dying anyway, right? One way or another.
Well, I say dying every day to live, to fully live is really the way to go. So, and frankly, my whole thing is really about using the power of music, art, poetry, story, the multidimensional languages of art, as the new religion, if you will, inclusive of religion, but as the new messenger of spirituality. My whole thing is, have you gotten your daily minimum requirement of inspiration today? Have you been genuinely moved? There's a study, University of Virginia, Jonathan Haidt, that said if you're touched, moved, and inspired to chills, tears, whatever, it actually adds years to your life physiologically. You're actually metabolically at the optimum functioning, which is amazing. So, you don't need scientists to prove that, but it actually adds years to your life when you're allowing yourself to be emotionally porous.
So it's like laughter, right? They say laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah.
So you're saying inspiration is the
Tears,
best
chills,
medicine.
laughter, being moved. Those are that inspiration is a biochemical experience in the human being. And when you feel the biochemistry of inspiration, it literally is a tonic for living.
So what do you say to the person who feels like they're dredging along? What words of advice, messages of hope could you give them?
Really, I would say, one of the things the Artist Way talked about was a daily journal. It's like, what are the things that touch you? What are the things that move you? Who are the people that make you feel like you're loved? What are the places? For me, it's nature. For me, when I go into wilderness, I feel the presence of spirit. But it's for me. For other people, it's your mother, your sister, your best friend, your dog, whatever it is. Follow, like Rumi says, follow where your longing is seeking, and the longing is the answer. When you start to really yearn for what you love, the yearning begins to feed you. It's really funny. Everybody's so focused on I gotta have it, but what they don't realize is the yearning is what primes the pump, and actually starts giving you the endorphins you're looking for. Just even imagining what you want.
So it's the following your dream. It's not about having the dream or getting the result or the end goal. It is the journey, literally.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. The inspiration of possibility has its own endorphins, And I used to be really wealthy. And let me just put it this way. Right now, I'm not in that phase, but I am wealthier than I have ever been.
How so?
With friends, with a sense of gratitude, with a feeling of fulfillment, with a sense of knowing that I came here to do a certain thing and I'm doing it. I'm interested in spreading that message. I'm really an evangelist for using the things in your own home, the CDs, the poems, the stories. The simplest things are the sources of inspiration that can remind you who you really are and what matters most. That's what I've devoted my life to.
What do you do when you get scared?
What I'm learning now is when I get scared, I have to exercise. I have to turn into the scare. I have to move my energy. Ironically, for me, dousing myself in water, being surrounded, anything that will change the energy. But if I'm scared, I don't get scared often. What do I get? I get overcommitted. I overdo, and I forget that I'm a human being, not a human doing. That's my problem. But that's not a bad problem to have, because I'm never wanting for something to do.
But you have had all the success, as you say, the trappings, the big house, the nice cars, the this, the that, and now you have a whole new level of your career, your commitment, your goals, and you're creating and raising capital and doing all of these things to make that goal happen. So it's almost like you're at another new threshold, right? You're looking over the precipice.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about, that feeling. What do you do about that feeling as you're looking down that big hole with these big dreams and huge goals?
Well, not only dreams. In the next 4 months, there are 4 projects that are going to be launched that are going to get national attention, and I just know it. And even if they don't, they're going to touch people at a very profound level. A book and CD set called Safe in the Arms of Love, Deepening the Essential Bond with Your Baby, is a collaboration with Dr. David Sorenda and Lisa Raffel. There's no book like it that's going to address the issue of bonding and how important that is, an emotional foundation for a human being's life. There's another product that I'm coming out with, Duke Comprehensive Cancer Center. The first audio research of its time is using this audio tool for psychosocial, emotional, mind-body integration for cancer patients. The truth is, I'm so engaged with what it is that I know is going to... For me, as a composer, it wasn't good enough to just do something that would touch people. For me, I want music to be useful like a hammer or a fork. There's a famous poem that I think Goethe or Rilke wrote, which is that a poem can be useful like a hammer or a fork. I want music and art to really be utilized in our lives in a way that will really make a difference. So whether these things succeed or not, I know that I'm on the front edge of a new role that the artist can play in society. And I'm going to speak on behalf of that. That's what my book is going to be about, and that's what my talks are about, is having the artist take on the role of shaman of society, the healer of individuals in society. And I think that it's time. I think it's time to use the platform of arts as a way to integrate and unify and connect and inspire. To me, it's the new platform for spiritual awakening, really.
Entertainment. I love that.
Entertainment.
And you are the voice of, literally, the composer of, the creator of, right?
But what I'm really excited about is engaging other composers, other poets, other storytellers, other artists.
Other normal people?
Other because everyone has the ability to create within them. So if I could be an advocate for daily minimum requirement of inspiration really comes directly from an ownership of your own inner creative soul. So if everyone has that within them. Everyone has it innately inside of them. I'm convinced of it.
And so if we forget, what do we do?
Find your favorite piece of music. Again, find the things that touch you and move you. And sometimes when worse comes to worse, go to sleep and get some rest. This culture is so intense, and there's so much going on that we're barraged by, that it's hard to believe that creating space and emptiness, and this is something I have to listen to, it's hard to believe that space often, the lack of it is what often is the malady that creates the sense of overwhelm and depression. There's so much that we have to deal with in this world, and yoga, tai chi, listening to your favorite music, getting more rest, throw on your favorite movie with your friend one night. It's all of that.
I love that. And Gary, for our viewers, how do they get a hold of you?
Wisdom, well, two things. First of all, if they want to download the first prototype of a wisdom film featuring Marianne Williamson's famous quote, "Our Deepest Fear," they can go to wisdomfilms.com. But our music and all the music I've created and the world that we've created is wisdomoftheworld.com.
Wisdomoftheworld.com.
One word. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. To, shall we say, leave us with those final words, those, gosh knows, you've been doing it all night long. I go, check, check, check. It's just amazing things. But what practical wisdom of the world of tonight would you share with our listeners?
There's nothing more powerful than your own authentic, intimate self. And I would say, take a moment, take a risk, and go to someone that you know loves you and tell them something that you haven't had the courage to say before. Go on that skinny branch and take a risk and be willing to be your true, naked, authentic self.
Like what?
And what?
Give me an example.
Like, even something that you might have been concealing or undermining because you didn't say. I've always had a hard time with when you've done that, but the truth is I really love you and I don't like that when that blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Or, you know what? I don't know if you know this, but you are a light in my life, and my life would be different without you. Anything you can do to cross the threshold into a deeper level of authenticity and intimacy, I'm telling you, will come back tenfold.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for being here tonight.
It was great. Thanks, Jill.
And you've been watching Messages of Hope. We're grateful you've been tuning in, and I ask you to go out and keep spreading your own messages of hope. Good night, everyone.